What's up guys, my name's David and thanks for tuning into my channel. Before I begin, I would just like to thank the people who have subscribed. This channel is brand new, so there's not many of you, but I just wanted to say that I appreciate each and every one of your support. Now with that said, let's jump into it. Today I have with me the iPad. This is the 2017 version, which was released last April. Now this isn't the iPad Pro or the iPad Mini, it's just the iPad. Now in conjunction with the name, it's very clear what Apple is trying to do with this device. This is basically an introductory level tablet made for maybe people who have never owned an iPad before, or people who just do basic things on their tablets such as surfing the net, watching videos, or playing video games. This device has a lot in common with the iPhone 6. For starters, it has the same exact processor. Inside we have Apple's A9 chip and 2 GB of RAM. I know what you're thinking, that chip is already more than 2 years old and 2 GB of RAM is nothing, especially since a lot of Android devices have upwards of 8 GB of RAM. However, as most of you know, Apple does a very good job of optimizing its software to run with its hardware. After 2 days of use, I have very little to complain about. Even while playing graphic-intensive games such as Modern Combat 5 and X-Plane 10, the device ran very smoothly. Opening and closing apps is seamless, and watching movies and streaming videos is very quick. I think you'll be perfectly happy with this device performance-wise, unless you put it side by side against an iPad Pro, then you might notice a performance difference. The body itself is very nice. It's got a glass and aluminum finish, and it's about 7.5 millimeters thick. That's a little thicker than the iPad Pro, and at 469 grams you can feel the weight, but it's not heavy at all. This is also supporting a first generation Touch ID sensor. This was the same sensor that was used in the iPhone 6. It's a fast sensor, but it's not as quick as what's in the iPhone 7 or the iPad Pro, but I don't think you'll be disappointed. The speakers are nice and loud, but nothing over the top. You can play them as loud as you want and you won't lose any of the quality, at least not with what I've experienced. Now, one of the most important parts of any tablet or phone is the display. This is a 9.7-inch Retina display with a resolution of 2048 x 1536. That's somewhere in between Full HD, which is 1080p, and 2K. Apple always goes with these weird resolutions, so I'm not surprised there. This has a pixel per inch count of 264, and my thoughts on the screen is that I just like it. Colors are good and pictures are very sharp and vibrant. However, this base model iPad does not have an anti-reflective coating on the screen, which means visibility outdoors, especially under bright sunlight, can be pretty poor. This also isn't laminated, which means there's a tiny gap between the screen itself and the glass that covers it. It's not very noticeable, and in fact, I had to look really hard with both the iPad and the iPad Pro side by side, and I was looking at them under bright Best Buy lights and I still had some trouble picking out the gap. With that said, don't let that hold you back from picking up this tablet, because the screen still looks good, and if you've never owned an iPad before, then I think you'll be perfectly happy with what this has to offer. As mentioned earlier, this is a bit thicker than the Pro version, but that's because Apple put in a bigger battery. The battery comes in at 8,827 milliamp hours. Now, on Apple's website, they're claiming 10 hours of battery life, but with some heavy usage, I was getting about 4.5 hours, but that's with watching videos, playing video games, and surfing the web nonstop. But just as a disclaimer, the model that I tested is already 3 months old, so you might get something different out of a brand new model. The camera is okay, it's nothing special, and if you're the type of person that uses their tablet as their main camera or is planning on doing so, then I definitely suggest looking elsewhere. This is an 8 megapixel shooter. Again, it's pretty much the same camera that was in the iPhone 6. There is no flash or anything like that. Here's a couple of pictures that I took indoors. The pictures look decent under natural light, but indoors they're not the greatest. You Besides what I've discussed so far, this is also missing another feature that the Pro version has. This doesn't have the smart connector, so you can't use things such as the smart keyboard or the Apple Pen. Now most people won't really care about something like that, which is why I say that this iPad is fine for the majority of the population. But if you really need to use those extra features, then you would have to spend the extra money and go with the iPad Pro. Overall, I think this is an excellent buy for the price. If you want a tablet that's excellent for surfing the net, watching videos, and playing video games, then you'll be more than happy with this. Like I said earlier, the performance is fine, but just don't expect the latest and greatest technologies. And that's it, guys. I hope that helped any one of you who's planning on picking up one of these this year. Again, thanks to those of you who have subscribed. If you're not subscribed yet, please do so. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys again with the next video. Take care.